I'm a fighter, always have been. In the ring and in business. 30 years of battles, rising, falling, rebuilding. I've made money, I've lost money, but it wasn't until I created Zapata Systems was I able to really climb my way out. But the toughest fight, it wasn't physical. It was watching money walk out the door week after week, whether to vendors charging too much or labor not justifying the revenue. That money stress, it doesn't always stay at work. It follows you home, turns into arguments, cold dinners, and broken peace. And then there's the IRS, back taxes, deadlines, pressure you can't punch your way out of. Zapata Systems shows you what you're really paying. It gives you control, leverage, and savings. This isn't about surviving. It's about winning. You're in a fight. Start acting like it. Zapata Systems. Fight smarter.
All right, guys. Happy New Year. I'm Joe Zapata. We are back. Took off for Christmas, but now we're back. I'm here from the writer's room. Rob Alvarenga. How you doing, Robbie?
Gentlemen, Happy New Year's Eve.
Yes, that's true. And from DC Unboxed, Dave Clary. What's going on, Dave?
Hello, what's going on?
What's going on? How was your Christmas, guys? Everything good with the family? Everything was good?
Excellent. Good stuff.
Yeah, I saw your gifts, Dave, with all the Ghostbuster packs there. Were pretty cool.
Lucky.
My nephews lost their damn minds playing with the pal. I'll have to send you guys the video.
Yeah, it seems like it was really cool to be that age again. That was cool. And you guys going to be doing anything for New Year's either, or what?
Sleeping.
Same thing. Me too.
Stranger Things finale tomorrow, 8:30.
That's true.
Right.
We're gonna touch base and talk about that actually any moment. All right, so let's talk about the first topic here. While we were, away for the Christmas or whatever, looks like James Gunn broke the news that they decided that they are picked a new Brainiac, and I'm gonna butcher his name because I've never heard of him before. His name is Lars Eidinder. Is that how you say it, guys? Lars Eidinder?
Could be Eidinger because it's German.
It is German. I know nothing about him, but he's officially going to be Brainiac. So I'll start off with you, Rob. What do you think about this news about James Gunn picking him as Brainiac?
So I'm going to borrow a phrase from Dave Kalari there. It's fine. I was kind of like trying to do some research on this guy, and he's a pretty accomplished actor. I mean, a lot of his stuff is, from, his native country. He did a recent movie for Netflix, directed by Steve Levy. I think it's called The Lights, Behind the Lights or something like that. It was like one of those indie films. Well, for me anyway. And it just, this guy, he has a presence about him for sure. Obviously, like British actors, they could obviously turn the English accent on and gives a kind of like a gravitas, especially with the German bass to his voice. But overall, I mean, I've seen online some AI imaging of what this guy could look like as Brainiac. It looks fine. It looks like this guy, if he shows that kind of presence, opposite, Dave Corenswet and the rest of the Superman cast, I think it's going to be a good addition. So he reminds me a lot of the casting that they did for Galactus and Fantastic Four First Steps. He seems like a similar type of guy where it's just like, when you put the CGI, the makeup, whatever it is they're going to make him to make him look Brainiac-y, he's going to seem very imposing. And for that, that's what we want. That's what we want. We want somebody that looks like he could go toe-to-toe with Superman.
Okay. Dave, what did you think about this casting?
I like it only as in so much as no one knows anything about him, but I like that idea. It's cool that we got the idea of maybe Batista doing it or something like that. But if you really when you really get down to, okay, the movie's going to start getting made and you think about who they're going to put in some of these roles, it's like, I'd rather have someone that doesn't have a lot of face time in the genre period, or even I've never heard of this guy. So it just kind of brings the character. You can kind of get all the nuances of the character that that Gunn was most likely going to write with someone who's unfamiliar. Like you can just see him as that. And I think it's really good. And Rob's got a point. If the visuals in these movies nowadays, almost nothing is disappointing. I mean, some things, but if they do it right, it'll be great.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I mean, I thought it was a pretty good casting. You know, I don't know much about him, but he looks like it facially. You could see him, you know, as Brainiac though, for some reason.
Paul Dano vibes from the Batman.
Yeah.
Yes.
Exactly.
Yes.
So we'll wait and see. I mean, that was still a year away or so before that comes out. But let's move on to the next topic. And this one I thought was pretty interesting. Was James Cameron announced that he is doing another Terminator movie. Okay. And he said that, according to the New York Post, that he said he's moving away from Arnold and starting a whole new, you know, characters. And I thought that was interesting. Of course, online people said they wanted Arnold in there. Dave, what do you think about James Cameron saying he's starting a new franchise without Arnold?
Well, up until the last Avatar, James Cameron can do no wrong. So I don't know. You know, we get these interesting takes when The Flash came out, and I think James Gunn was like, "Oh, it's the best superhero movie I've ever seen." And James Cameron said he really liked Terminator. Was Genesis? I think he really liked.
Mm-hmm.
And neither of those are good movies.
Mm-hmm.
So it's really strange that they see things that they've created in that way, because it doesn't translate like that at all. But if you're going to do it, it's fine to go away from Arnold, because he's just getting older, and it's like, what are you going to do? But again, even with Terminator, like, dude, you should have canned it at T2. We didn't need every single thing that came after it. We really, really didn't. It was it was fine to not do anything, because none of them have really moved the story forward. It always comes back to the same thing. And I don't know if that's what they're trying to just hammer home. Like, yeah, we get it, guys. In this universe, no matter what you do, it still comes back to Skynet. Well, then just leave it alone.
Mm-hmm. Yep, I understand. Rob, what did you think when you heard this news about James Cameron going away from Arnold?
I don't know. Bottom line is, I feel like, you know, James needs to give up the ghost when it comes to Terminator. I mean, Terminator's been grounded and pounded into a fine salt. It's dead. It's beyond dead. I mean, okay, so Terminator, right? I think we all agree, you know, 1 and 2, those are definitive Terminator movies. Everything else that came after that, optional. I happen to like Rise of the Machines. I thought that was cool that, you know, it just shows, like, you know, the end of humanity and the transition into, you know, the world of Skynet, and how it ended. I thought that was cool. I thought Terminator Salvation had potential. I thought they were really gonna push the narrative forward with actually showing the death of John Connor and him be replaced by Terminator. I thought that was gonna happen, but it didn't. It seems like they just were not willing to basically go there. Like, once you go after Terminator 2 Judgment Day, you have it was the whole world was open there. Like, you needed to be there, James, and really, like, come up with something that's just going to be like, you know what, go there. Really put it, you know, take us really deep into the world where it's like, now you don't even feel like anyone's safe. But it just never happened. You know, it's just like, and then all these other things with, like, Terminator Genesis, which, to Dave's point, and I heard he felt like that was, if he was to make another sequel, that Terminator Genesis would have been it. That was like the honorary sequel, if you will. But like, it was garbage. I mean, you know, I'm sorry. And every single iteration of the T-1000, you know, you go slap TX, whatever, stuff like that. It's the same robot. I mean, it's just very frustrating, and it's disappointing. It doesn't matter really if you had Arnold or not. At this point, you know, you're slapping the name. You're hoping that, you know, the name, you know, gets that whole, like, nostalgia, like, oh wow, I haven't seen the Terminator movie in forever, and hope that it's good. And, you know, it won't be, because I just don't see any type of evidence to show that they have something really new to say about this franchise. I think it's been done. I mean, it's over. It's over, man. The horse is dead. Let it go.
Yeah. And I think Arnold not being in it, more people are not going to be interested at all either.
Yeah,
He
I
is a
don't. I just don't see it.
Yeah, I don't think it's going to happen here. But as we stay on James Cameron, obviously he had some trailers at the end of it. And Dave, you saw Avatar, correct? I didn't see it.
Yeah,
you saw it. There were some trailers on there. You saw the Steve Rogers trailer. What did you think of, first of all, the movie, the Fire and Ash movie, and the trailer at the end?
The movie's fine. Visually, it looks great. It really seems like it just rehashes the second movie. It's just more blue people fighting blue people, and now we just have angrier blue people that have moved away from AWA. That's why they're the fire people, and they're kind of like, I guess, atheist in a way. So they were interesting, but there was not enough exploration of them as characters or as a whole tribe. And again, like, there's no mention of unobtainium. It's just like I don't know what the end game is here. Like I know what James is trying to do with the story, and people want to colonize Pandora, but for some reason I just feel like that gets lost. Like the overarching, like, what's supposed to be happening, I just kind of feels gets lost in all the fighting, and the scenes everything looks fantastic. It's just we saw it already. I don't know where they're gonna. I don't know how he's gonna make two more of these.
Wow. Now the best part probably was the trailer at the end, the Steve Rogers. You said you enjoyed it, even though you've seen it before.
I did. I saw when we saw the leak, I was like, oh, here's an 8-bit Nintendo trailer. Yeah. And then seeing it in the theater, there's no dialogue. It's just a very light piano treatment on the Avengers theme is really, really great, and it's really cool to see Chris Evans back in the Steve Rogers role. I was like, ooh, got a little goosebumps.
Yeah. Now there were.
I think it's really annoying, and Rob is the only person who has said this the entire time, is that the words matter. They say Steve Rogers will return, not Captain America. And everyone's losing their shit online, be like, "Oh, Captain, I knew Brave Big New Bird was stupid. I knew they're going to get rid of him." No one pays attention.
You're right. Now they also had a Thor trailer that was leaked, and they just recently had this new X-Men trailer that was released. And actually, I thought that was the best one out of all of them. And I mean, I don't know, Rob, what do you think of? You saw that trailer too? What do you think of that one?
I saw both trailers. First, I'll just make a quick mention about the Thor one. The Thor one doesn't show a lot. It's him talking. It's actually Thor praying to the Allfathers to, basically give him strength to, defeat one last enemy, and so he could go back home to his adopted daughter, Love, that was introduced in the last movie. Quick thoughts. One, I find it very interesting that Thor, the god of thunder, that took a burning star's like fire straight to the chest. That level Thor has to pray to his Allfathers to give him strength to defeat whoever this enemy is, and of course it's Doctor Doom. But that just says a lot about what he's going to be up against when Doctor Doom shows up. I thought that was very interesting and unnerving at the same time. And for what it's worth, I mean, Love and Thunder, that movie, it is what it is. But I do like the idea that he has an adopted daughter. He has something to lose, and that's what's going to play into this movie. So I like that. Now the X-Men trailer. Woo! Talk about goosebumps. This is the trailer that really got me going because, man, look, man, X-Men was one of those early franchise movies that actually I felt like they were starting to get the superhero genre right. Like it wasn't a direct, adaptation of the source material, your costumes, whatever, stuff like that, and playing around with the characters' origins, whatever, fine. But you felt that it was X-Men. You, as an X-Men fan, I was like, I finally see these characters come to life, and it was super exciting. And I grew up, with that franchise basically, as the golden age of superheroes movies came about. So to see, Professor X, the original Professor X, the original Magneto, Ian McKellen, both those guys back up on the big screen, and then this whole eerie, death comes for everybody, and that whole speech. it just heightens up the tension about what's probably going to happen in this movie. And then
Hmm.
finally, on live screen, you get a Cyclops redemption. Like
Hmm. Yep.
James Marsden, this is what he's been craving for. This guy gets Cyclops, and he's been saying it forever that they did Cyclops the character dirty in those movies. This guy's way more powerful than anyone ever realizes, and you never really got to see it in those movies. And in this trailer, you got to see that. And in
Hmm.
the original Jim Lee costumes,
Yeah.
ooh man, that's a lot of fan service, man. And this is the one I'm like, okay, this movie, this marketing, whatever it is, the leaks and whatever, whether it's on purpose or not, whatever they're doing, it's working because I feel it. I feel the buildup
Mhm.
now leading up to the first trailer, the first true trailer of Avengers Doomsday.
Yep. Dave, did you see the Thor one that actually officially dropped today? And they
I
had
thought
those.
the Thor one was fantastic. I like that we're getting balls out Thor back, like strong Thor.
Mm-hmm.
But I will say, to Rob's point, if you remember in Infinity War and Endgame, when the Guardians rescue him, and he's talking about what he needs to do, and Rocket's asking him questions. He's like, "You never fought him twice or whatever," and he's like, "Well, what more do I have to lose?" Like Thor he's like, "I got nothing left," and in all of the Marvel movies, he's probably lost the most.
Correct.
Aside from Iron Man, obviously. But like his father, his brother, his whole planet exploded. He's probably suffered the most loss and still has gone on. So back then when he decided to take the star, he's like, I got nothing left, just let's do it. Now he has something to live for, which is love. I really enjoyed it. I saw the leaked version of the X-Men thing. It's cool. And I saw an AI version of it. Also cool. I just want to see the real thing.
Mm-hmm.
Costumes are great. I mean, they've been hinting at this forever, and we saw some of the images a month ago or 2 months ago with everyone in the suit. So, like, it's awesome to see. It just doesn't hit as hard because you're like, oh, here it is. Here's the thing that we saw already. Which is why I hate leaks. I'm so sick of fucking leaks.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah. One of a big famous YouTuber told me.
Say, I like that we see Cyclops, but at the same time, there's a part of me that just can't get over the fact that he was a cuck in Superman Returns.
Yep, you're right.
Yeah, let that go. That wasn't his fault.
You know, in all honesty, I do think, because I've talked to two big YouTubers who actually know the situation, said that Marvel's behind some of these leaks because they're too well timed when they come out. Like we don't get the it's too well timed. They said, look, they know what they're doing, and we're all psyched because we all want to see this now. You know, so I was going to ask you both if you notice it. Steve Rogers had the baby. Fantastic Four ended with Dr. Doom and the child, and now Thor was kneeling about his child. There's some things in common. There's a child. It seems. Am I missing something?
No, you're right on it, honestly. And if you believe, there's a bunch of theories about what this movie is going to be about, but the one that keeps coming up consistently is that they're all part of Doctor Doom's plan, that he needs these children. And the thing that again, only because if that's the theme, I'm connecting the dots. So he's going to need Steve Rogers' child. He's going to need Franklin. He's going to need Thor's daughter. In the X-Men trailer, you didn't see any kids, but Cyclops and Margot do have a daughter, and that daughter is Rachel Summers, and that is Phoenix. So maybe we get a live action Phoenix, that version of that character. Just thinking about it, I get excited because if that's true, and all these kids represent some kind of special power that Doctor Doom needs to basically take over, it's gonna be heavy. It's gonna be heavy. What's coming?
Yeah, the X-Men school was destroyed, so all those kids there. Pepper and Tony had a kid. Pepper and Tony had a kid that was in the end game. I guess we're going to see what happens.
Yeah, exciting.
And very exciting stuff to happen. So we'll wait and see, man. The countdown's beginning. So we'll see next year. We'll see what happens. All right, let's go to
this could be good.
Yeah, this could be good. Let's go to the next topic here. And we got Stranger Things. We got the finales coming up. We just had on Christmas Day. I watched them all. Stranger Things. People said it was doing great with the ratings. Some people were obviously saying we're review bombing it. But I overall thought it was great. And I wanted to ask you guys, how do you feel so far about it? You know, Dave, I'll start with you. What did you think about the last couple of episodes we saw before we get to the finale?
I would like to know what people are watching where they're like, well, this sucks. What the hell are you watching? It's great. It's great.
Yeah, I thought it was good.
I understand people. I don't know what they were expecting, and I know that we talked about this before. Somewhere along the lines, everyone got their wires crossed that some characters would die. And Duff is all but confirmed. Like, there's going to be no big deaths, even in the last episode. So I don't think everyone's going to make it out unscathed, but I also don't think it's going to be the bloodbath that I think people wanted or expected. I thought the writing was very good. I really enjoyed where they said what the Upside Down actually is. That was super intriguing to me, and I just like what's happened so far. I also think the scene with Will was, I don't think it was bad. It was maybe longer than it needed to be, and I think in the narrative it was placed a little bit later in the episode. It could have come off better if it was earlier in the episode, like right as he wakes up from the battle, his waking up from Vecna. But I think people need to remember, especially some of the younger generation, in the 80s, it wasn't cool to be just like, hey, I'm gay. Like it didn't go down like that.
That's exactly what I'm saying.
I think people forget that, because even if you're 10 years, like 5 to 10 years younger than any one of us, you grew up in a different time. People were much more understanding or tolerant, or as we got the alphabet crew now. And that's not said to be derogatory. It just is what it is. It's just a different time. And I think people forget what it was really like at that time. Even if you remember in, was it Eddie Murphy Raw, when he's doing jokes about gay people. And he's like, you gotta be careful, because you give one of your homo friends a kiss on the lips and you go home with that AIDS. It's like, that's not how it happened. But back then, nobody knew it. Like, we didn't know. So I think people need to try to look at it through a different lens, and also like, whatever.
Yeah.
Because they've been writing this show for 10 years. You think they're going to just go off the rails now and it's going to be terrible? I think these guys know what they're doing.
Yeah, I thought it was really good. And like you said, my point exactly with that, when the people don't realize 10 years ago coming out was our age growing up was really different, you know. Rob, what did you think about the last Stranger Things couple of episodes?
Yeah, I'm just gonna highlight. It's a lot of similar stuff because, to be honest, it felt like written quick. So I think I'm gonna start with the coming out scene. First of all, what I do like, and as a writer, is that this is not shoehorned. First of all, you kind of knew already that he was gay in the last season. When he was just, you could see him squirming, struggling, because he thought he was in love with Mike in that respect. But they didn't go overboard with it. They just showed that, I think he's starting to realize that he's different. But so this coming out thing should not have been a surprise to anybody. Number one. Number two, it is in line with his story arc. This guy, he knows that if he has any chance against Vecna, he has to be comfortable with everything about him. He has to go in there with a focused mind, and they suggest everything as much. That's why he got defeated so easily by Vecna, because Vecna went into his mind and saw his fears, what he's hiding, his secrets, and that is used against him. And if he's going to help his friends, he's got to be all the way himself. So he had to do this, and I like that. From a writing standpoint, this is an important element. It's a very important moment in the show for this character to come out and actually truly become who he was meant to be and always was. Okay, so that right there puts an end to whether this was push, force, whatever. No, this was planned. This has been building up for over the season, and this is the culmination of this character. And now he's ready for war. And number two, I'm sorry, but Will's character has been the one that has suffered beyond belief through the entire series run, and for almost 4 seasons into it, this guy, for all intents and purposes, was a damsel in distress. That was his character. Will was, he was constantly getting trapped or whatever through the Upside Down, whether it be the Mind Flayer, Vecna, whatever. This kid was the guy they had to actually go and save all the time.
Yep.
And now, now he has something to say about it, you know, and the only way he gets to do that is to be himself, to finally come out and be who he is. And, you know, if by doing that, which we already seen a sample of it, he is one of their most powerful weapons in this battle. So now leading up to it, the party, you know, into the last episode, the party is now at full strength and they're going to give it all they got, you know, because, you know, they know they're outgunned, you know, with Vecna, and they know that their time is against them. So again, from a writer standpoint, from a storytelling standpoint, that was a very important scene. And if it took a little longer, yeah, I kind of agree with David. Probably, you know, kind of shaved off a little bit here and there, but whatever. You know, this is a moment that was earned. So you know what? If you got to bask in it for a couple more seconds, so be it. It did not take anything away from the episode. It did not take anything away from the series up to this point. I'm excited. Everything's lined up. All the chess pieces are where they're supposed to be. And this last episode should be a doozy.
Do you guys trust Elle's sister? Do you guys think something about me doesn't trust her? Something doesn't seem right. I don't know.
I think she's gonna die. I think she's the one that's gonna die.
She gotta go, man. She gotta go.
Yeah,
Hopper might take her out.
Yeah, I don't know. Something's strange there. It doesn't bother. Every time she shows up, she's always like sneaking around with those eyes. I don't trust those eyes.
Yeah, we see you. What are you up to?
Her intentions are like, we know her intentions. Like and I get it. She doesn't trust anybody.
No.
She's just been. She saw her. I like that they gave us a little bit of a backstory where we saw her friends get shot by the military. Like they just took them out, and we're going to take her. So I understand where she's coming from. I know that 11 loves her life, whether it's with Mike or Hopper or whatever. She's just not going to give that up. She's hopeful enough that she probably feels that whatever happens after this, she'll figure it out. Whether it's they destroy the lab or Dr. K dies or whatever. If anyone's gonna bite the dust, it's probably her.
It's gonna be her. Yep, that's what I think too. Well, I'm waiting. It's gonna be a good one, man. It's gonna be a great finale. It's gonna be sad, you know, but it's gonna be a great finale. All right, now we're gonna get to the final topic here, and you know, I put this in here because you know, with New Year's coming in, it's the last sort of hurrah. The 2025, the good, the bad, the ugly. You know, let's just kind of just sit back and kind of recap a couple movies during this year that we saw, maybe that we thought were good, that were bad. You know, I'll start off. One of my favorite movies of 2025 was Predator: Badlands. I put that up there. One of my number ones. That also, I love Frankenstein, which was another one that was on streaming. It did get a release theory, but that was another one. What about you guys? What were some favorite movies of 2025 you guys enjoyed? You know, Rob, I'll start with you.
First, I was kind of like trying to do like a little list, but you know what? I really wanted to keep it short because I realized that when I think about 2025, I just feels like there wasn't a lot of like good movies that came out. There was a lot of movies, but I don't feel like we had a lot, you know, type of films that kind of like stayed with you, like really either excited you or whatever. Pearl of Badlands, for example, so it was just an unexpected surprise that you had a lot of fun, so it's memorable. Frankenstein, which I finished watching, you know, yesterday. Wow, that's definitely a top 3 movie of this year. The other 2 movies that I like to point out is the number one for me is Sinners. That movie is kind of like a one of one. It's kind of like an experience on its own. It is not just a vampire movie. It's not just a horror movie. It is a movie really about culture. And it's basically, it's an experience, really. You know, it's like a really look back into the past, and you know, it has and gives you certain questions about like what music is. Where music is music magic? You know, is music something that's inherited, and does it transcend? You know, like generations and stuff like that. And can that bring in evil as well as good? That's kind of what Sinners kind of starts throwing at you. That movie, man, I mean, blown away by that movie. The story, the visuals for it, for me, is hands down the best movie of 2025, in my opinion. The other one I will put out there, which it had some build up for it. I don't know if I don't think I've really talked to anybody that's seen it, but Weapons, that movie is not what you think, and that movie is one of those movies which is like it just gives it's like the you see the trailer, it's creepy as all hell, there's a mystery to it, and when you get in there, that experience, that movie, it gives you such a left turn. You're just like was not expected at all, and left you just like just wow.
Mm.
And so I recommend Weapons for sure. And then just in general, for me this year, 2025, what did come out that was really good for me was kind of like a reemergence, a renaissance of horror movies. There's a lot of good horror movies that came out. I mean,
Yeah.
I know that I'm the designated horror guy, but honestly, a lot of these horror movies were just good movies. Period.
Hmm.
So it's very surprising in that respect. But for me, I just try to keep it to a top three:
Yeah.
Sinners, Weapons, Frankenstein.
Okay. Cool. Dave, which ones did you enjoy for 2025? Some of your best.
Predator, I think, was the pleasant surprise. I didn't expect it to be so good.
Hmm.
For me, Superman was the sure thing. I was like, this is going to be good. I'm going to like it. My steaming pile of dog poop was a movie called The Amateur. I'm pretty sure that was this year.
I've never heard of. Yeah, the Amateur.
Did you know it, Rob?
I know of it. You're the first person I know that's seen it.
Yeah, the premise is good. Execution is horrendous.
Okay.
Not
Yeah. Naked Gun I thought was not bad either. I thought it was pretty good.
Yeah,
pretty good.
It's interesting. They're not. I don't think there's a lot of real big standout movies.
No.
Because also Mission Impossible was this year.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
Yeah.
But I've been looking at everyone's best and worst, and some people categorize their best by what they liked, and then a couple of guys I watch they just categorize the movies based on like how they did at the box office, based on their budget, the supposed marketing, and like how much they made. And I thought Mission Impossible was great, but it like tanked monetarily.
Yeah.
Like it only made like 615 million and cost like 3 billion to pay everybody properly and the time it took to do it and blah blah blah. Yep. So it's just I guess it just depends on how you want to rate what you've seen. Obviously we've all seen things that don't do very well at the box office but ends up being very, very good. Sinners I know is good. I haven't seen it. I would like to see. I'm not the biggest horror guy, but I still want to give Weapons a shot. But it's like everyone who's seen it has liked them. So
yeah,
I think it was a very solid year for movies. Nothing really knocked it out of the park, but there was more good than bad.
Yeah. For my bad, I would have to put up there The Running Man. I was not happy with that as being up there. I was not happy with The Running Man. I was running out of the theater after I saw it. Wasn't good. Rob, did you have any bad ones that you didn't like, you said?
Yeah. It really comes down to two that, because with bad movies, I usually get a good sense of like if a movie's going to be, it has to pique my interest in some level for me to be, go and watch something. So the premise has got to be good. There's got to be something to offer. So, but if I get any, wind that's not really going to satisfy what I'm looking for, I kind of avoid, and most times they're not, those are the bad movies. But every so often you just walk into a dumpster fire. And so the two movies that I actually did see, one I couldn't even finish, which I'll start with that one. Amazon, I think it was Amazon, came out with this new version of War of the Worlds with Ice Cube.
I saw that. Yes, I saw that.
Oh my goodness. That movie was a tough watch. Like if 30 minutes into it, I'm like, I'm not gonna make it. I'm not gonna make it. This movie, first of all, it's boring. There's nothing really happening. It's the premise was supposed to be like the War of the Worlds storyline, but from like kind of like a behind the scenes, kind of like a Cloverfield kind of vibe to it. But it was no even near that. And honestly, for that kind of idea to work, you gotta get somebody better than Ice Cube to carry that freaking movie. Yeah, that movie was just bad. The CGI, the effects was just BS. And I know that movie I think was made during COVID. Still, there were other movies that I made with COVID that did not look that bad. So that was, for me, that's like my number one stinker. The other one was more like a really big disappointment for me. And it's not like I was expecting much, but damn, Happy Gilmore 2.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Yeah, it
And it
started out okay.
wasn't because of me. I was
No. You were the best part. You were the best part of the movie.
wasn't because of me. Remember that.
Yeah, no. It started good. It started out good. There was a few laughs here and there, but after a while, somewhere along like the middle of the movie, it just started going somewhere
Yeah.
Mars, and I was just like, "What are we doing here?"
Yeah. I also want to mention that Tron Ares, but I didn't see that, but I've heard that was really bad. I didn't get to see that, but that was one on my list I'm going to put up there. But definitely Running Man. As far as Marvel movies, we had Fantastic Four, Thunderbolts. To me, Thunderbolts I thought was the better movie of all the Marvel movies this year, 2025. I don't know about you guys. I thought it was better than Fantastic Four. Not by a lot, but I did enjoy Thunderbolts more. And for DC, we only got in 2025 Superman, that was a great movie. So those were kind of our 2025 recap, I guess. We'll see 2026. We got Doomsday, we got a lot of things coming, so we have to wait and see. It's going to be a big year 2026.
100%.
All right, guys. Let us hit up our questions really quick. We had a lot of questions while we were off, and we had a lot of Ghostbusters questions. So let's start with some of these questions here. So we have Roger R. from New York. He says, DC, I believe they could explore Gozer lore in a future GB movie. Do you think that would work?
Gozer's done.
Gozer's done.
I'm not interested. I'm not interested in it. I think they gave enough in Afterlife.
Okay.
Going back to this is where Ivo Shandor lived, and we even had J.K. Simmons as him for a few seconds before he got split in half. I'm fine with how they closed it out. Like, this is where the fandoms can. And Joe, you're used to this because it's Star Wars. It's like,
yep.
Oh my God, I want something new, and then everyone's like, hey, well, why don't we go explore the thing that you've already done 50 times that we were complaining about? And I'm not saying this is what Scott Rogers is asking. It's a normal question, but I think if you really want to go forward, you have to go forward. If you wanted to tell that story in the animated thing that they supposed to be coming out on Netflix, or if there was like a streaming show that you had based off of Ghostbusters, you could do that. But I'm certainly not interested in seeing anything Ghost related in a future movie.
Okay. All right. We'll see. Then we got the next one. It says, Greg F. from West New York. Hello, GB Dave. I enjoyed Frozen Empire. However, I'm not sure if you agree. The villain had weak motivation and undeveloped new characters. Do you agree? Thanks. GB fan.
I don't know if the motivation was weak. It's just not really explored enough. Does that count as weak? I don't know. We got to see that he was captured and held in his little brass ball forever. Underdeveloped new characters. Not really. I'm interested. I'm fine to see where they go with them in the next movie. Like James A. Caster was Lars Pinfield. He was one of Winston's main engineers. As long as you give him something to do and some kind of backstory, whatever, in the next movie, I think the setup was fine. Lucky, I think her story is what it is. It's okay.
Okay.
Nothing wrong. There's nothing wrong. I was fine with any of it. If I walked out of that theater thinking, like, oh man, I really wish this would have seen more of this, then maybe. But I left Frozen Empire like, yeah, that was fine. But again, this is where we run into. Everyone argues like, do we need the OGs or do we not? If you don't want to have bad guys that have bad motivation or underdeveloped characters, like, get rid of the old guys.
Yep.
I know that's blasphemy to say to some people, but like, if you can't have both. You can't have a story focused around the guys that we've been around for 40 years, and then also give enough time to like develop new characters that are already 2 movies deep at this point. So you got to get one.
Okay. All right. Well, then we got Dan G from Pearl River, New Jersey. I'm a struggling writer. I took an online class. One of the teachers told me when writing characters, make sure you have clear motivations, distinctive voices. Do you agree? Thanks, Rob.
That is going to be depending on your story, in my opinion.
Okay.
Distinctive voices. I mean, are you writing a period piece? Does your story take place, in the Deep South? Is it somewhere in a different country where there's like a, the pronounced way of how to speak English? But just know this, even if any of that's the case, that's not your job. Just if you're gonna state that you're doing a story, with people that live in Ireland, you don't have to write how they would speak normally in words in your script, because that is going to be super annoying for the reader. Just read it, just write it normally, and that whole aspect is for the filmmaking process. Your job is to tell the story. Clear motivations. So as far as like clear motivations go, that speaks to like your character development. It's part of like it's kind of like your homework before you actually start writing your story. Part of your homework is to make sure that not only do you know who your characters are, but what are their stories that have led up to the story you're about to write. That's the best way I could describe it, because there, when the movie that you're writing is going to be kind of like the biggest moment of their life, but what has led up to that? Why has it led up to that? All that stuff there, that's your backstory, but you don't need to show that all in your movie. You need to know what this character has been through and why this character is the way it is. And then for us, the audience, you show that in your movie and let us see, kind of like with the natural interaction of your characters, like, oh, I get it. This guy's a dick. Oh, I get it. This guy, he's had a broken home and he doesn't trust anybody, or something like that. I'm just giving you flying examples, but those are things that get revealed naturally as the character is challenged to change in your movie. But all that stuff that's lead up to it, that's your homework. You need to know your characters inside and out before the first page starts getting written of your movie.
Okay, very good. Next one, Tim. This is the last one. Tim D from Ridgefield Park, New Jersey. I enjoyed Frozen Empire much better than Afterlife. However, they seem to be relying too heavily on nostalgia without enough new ideas. What do you think, Dave?
What did I just say? You have to pick one. So I don't know. I don't think they were relying on it. I just think it's just the way. I think just that being the last film to probably transition away from the OGs being a main focal point, because they were all pretty much in Frozen Empire from the beginning. The only one that really needs to be there is Winston, only because he's bankrolling the whole thing, and he's got the lab, and he's pushing forward. I do like the idea of having Dan Aykroyd Ray do like the he's the consultant. He can hang out with the Patton Oswalt character if they want to continue that, and they can be the consultants and like the occult guys and the supernatural reference material dudes. That's fine. And I just don't think we need Bill Murray in here anymore. Like
I agree.
He seems kind of disinterested, and his character did what it needed to do in the first and second movie, and he doesn't really fit in with the overt science parapsychological nature of the movie. So I'm fine with him not being there. But again, this is how you move the story forward. You have to take what we've been given over the last 40 years, wrap it up, and then just send it on its way.
Yeah, exactly right. All right, guys, we're going to wrap up here with just some, see if you can guess those movie quotes. All right, we're going to wrap up here. I'm going to start off here with Dave. Here we go. The first movie quote. Hasta la vista, baby.
Yeah, Terminator 2.
Baby. All right, next one. Ready, Rob?
Yes.
Do I make you horny, baby? Do I?
That's Austin Powers, Man of Mystery.
That is correct. All right, Rob. You ever dance with the devil in the pale moonlight?
Wait, it's me.
No, that's
Joker, Batman.
That's right. Very good. All right, ready, Rob?
Yes,
I wish I can quit you.
Brokeback Mountain. Oh man! Wow.
All right, Dave. This one is pretty simple. To infinity and beyond.
Toy Story.
Very good. Very good. Very good. All right, Rob. They're here.
Oh, Poltergeist.
Very good. All right, Dave. Yippee-ki-yay, motherfucker.
Die Hard. That's Christmas movie.
Okay. All right. Ready? Rob.
Yeah.
Ludicrous Speed is a go.
Oh, Spaceballs. That's awesome.
Dave. We came, we saw, we kicked its ass.
Ghostbusters.
Of course. And finally, Rob. I am your father's brother's cousin's former roommate.
Spaceballs again. I love it.
Love it. All right, guys, that was it, man. Have a happy New Year, guys. I will see you guys next week. All right. Talk to you guys later. Peace out.
Started from nothing. Jersey streets, we owned it. Jay-Z pumping iron. Body builder coding. Gears on the